Good morning, loves. Happy Money Mindset Monday. I hope that you all had an incredible weekend. I sure did. I had a full weekend and let's say 4 days of amazing training, the certification for leadership coaching, which I will be facilitating in addition to the life coaching certifications. I'm so excited about that. And then I went straight into my practitioner year two first weekend, which oh, both of the alchemies of this, all the breakthroughs from the leadership coaching and then the breakthroughs through the shamanic, just the beautiful medicine that gets brought into the alchemy of these two trainings. So excited to be bringing this new recalibrated version of me here right now to you. So I know that this topic, if you're struggling with imposter syndrome, this is for you. And my sense is a lot of us are. I mean, I'm going to be really, really honest here. I sometimes do. And that happens usually when it's time to level up and birth that next creation into the world. It's real, my loves, okay? And I am part of a mastermind myself where it's women of multi six to eight figures. And let me tell you, it is real. These women, so what is imposter syndrome? In case you're wondering, do I have that? It is when you are creating success. It's really obvious, like but with your numbers, with perhaps you're still showing up and you're delivering all your magic into the world. But deep inside, you're like, when is somebody going to find out? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyone here? Drop me some hearts. Okay, and of course, if you're here live, please let me know. Hello, hello. And if you are on the replay, let me know by dropping in hashtag replay. Okay, you know I always love to see who's tuning in and what takeaways you're receiving because taking that knowledge, taking your takeaways and implementing them into your life is power, right? Knowledge isn't power, it's applying that knowledge, taking it and integrating it. Okay, so if this is speaking to you, I'm going to tell you a little story about what, goodness, this would have been 2 years ago. And I might have spoken about this recently, but I'm going to repeat it again. Okay, in case some of you are new here, welcome. And in case, hi Tiff, good morning, love. In case you were, you did not catch that other live yet. So 2 years ago, I was invited to speak at a high level entrepreneur event. I was told who would be on stage, and one of the keynote speakers was somebody who is in the caliber of very, very big. Okay, so meaning like they're world famous. And I was going to be speaking on the stage with this person. So I was like, oh my goodness, that is incredible. And this opportunity came to me right after I had a psychic reading about it went from a psychic that I'd never ever met. I was actually away on a conference in Cleveland, I believe. And I love to go, I don't know about you guys, but I love going to see psychics who don't know me, have never heard about me before, and I've never heard about them, but except for, you know, the referral. So the psychic literally said to me, you're meant to be speaking on bigger stages. Like you're doing good, but like you're ready for that next level, like big stages. And I was like, all right. And literally no word of lie, like 2 hours later, I got this invite to speak on this big stage. So of course, like you can't make this stuff up, right? It's synchronicity. And when I found out all the other players on the stage, I was just, and these are people I've looked up to for years. And I was really excited, but as I said yes, and I always say to you, if you're saying yes because your soul is super called, but you're like freaking out. That's normal. Okay. We shouldn't feel calm if we know we're going to be playing at a bigger level and we're stepping into the unknown. All right. That it would be the ultimate goal to feel calm as you're stepping into unknown, but that's not how we operate as human beings. And so for me, stepping into this also brought up, because new level, new devil, right? Brought up more shit to be cleared. It brought up my fear and my beliefs about not being good enough. It brought out for me, especially like this thought, like, oh my God, I'm going to be on the stage in front of 600 people and all these other gurus. And my biggest fear was believing, like I literally believe this, guys, that I would be a waste of time on the stage. I had that thought. And it wasn't just a fleeting thought, it stayed with me. And I was anxious for months. And I didn't let myself sit in my shit, like the anxiety would come and go. And I was, of course, doing my work to really move into this next level version of myself and let go of those fears, let go of the thoughts, the toxic thoughts that were not serving and supporting me. And it wasn't easy. So I'm going to share those steps with you today. But let me share with you, we fast forward in this story, the day arrived. So it was about a good 6 months. I had time to craft my talk. And this was one of those events where you can speak and sell your programs on the stage. And I was actually invited to be the MC as well, because as Spirit has it, the MC that was supposed to be in place, unfortunately, that fell through, and I was asked to step in. Like, what? Not only am I leveling up to speak on stage with these high level entrepreneurs that I have been looking up to for years, and now I'm asked to MC the event. I was like, this is like literally a dream come true. And I could feel a separation within me in terms of like current reality, Roz, and I could see the next level version of me, but I couldn't really feel like this was real. Like I couldn't actually feel like this is reality for me. Good morning, Blaze. And so it took a lot of work, somatic work, embodiment work to really get into this place of being ready. So by the time I arrived at this special, it was actually a 2-day event. Okay, so I was ready. I was nervous as well, but I was more ready than anything. I was willing to feel the fear and be courageous and show up anyway, and show up and shift. So again, I'll share those steps later. But what ended up happening was, unfortunately, this is why I'm not mentioning what the event was. If you've been following for a couple of years, you might know what I'm talking about. But it was the event itself was a huge flop. Unfortunately, the host of the event was not managing herself very well. Being a trained trauma therapist, I can see how her inner child was unraveling, and I could see how her lack of planning for this day appropriately really fell through. And unfortunately, the numbers were not there in the room. And this person was panicking so much. She was even on sales calls on the first day, just get people in on day 2. It was a disaster, to say the least. Okay. And it was very interesting to be, understanding on all different levels, psychologically, from a neuroscience, from a trauma background, to a business level, what was happening. So luckily, I was grounded enough to come in and come from this place of I'm in service. Like that thought of I'm a fraud, who when people are going to find out, like I actually don't know anything, like didn't even enter because I'd done so much work. But also now the focus was on serving and supporting, apparently not just the audience, but also making sure the host wasn't going to fall apart. So it's a very interesting role. And so at the end of this event, the biggest takeaways for me was, number one, wow, I did it. Let's celebrate. Let's celebrate that I showed up. I didn't hide. I didn't say no. I could have made all these excuses. I showed up anyway, and I showed up in my best next level version of me. Number two, it was reflected back. People were coming up to me because it was very obvious that the event was a flop, and it was flopping and continuing to flop. But because I showed up, I held space with the audience of the people that were there. They came up to me and said, "You're saving the show." Even the other speakers were saying that as well. So that is so huge. Look at what happens when you let go of fear, when you let go of this imposter syndrome and these beliefs that you're a fraud, you're not good enough, and you just show up anyway. Because guess what? Confidence doesn't come naturally. We're not born with confidence. Confidence is related to your belief in yourself to do something and eventually do it really well. But it takes courage to take aligned action. Confidence comes from taking aligned action. Okay, it's not just something you think about and all of a sudden you have confidence. And confidence depends on the different activities that you're being asked to step into. So for example, am I confident to cut my son's hair? Hell no, you guys. I would never try to cut my kid's hair right now, as with the lack of skills that I have. Okay. Now, am I confident to have a coach, a hairstyling coach, to teach me how to? Of course. Yes. Do you see the difference? Okay. So I'm willing to take aligned action to learn. I have confidence to learn. And so with this, and now I want to really make it clear, confidence and self-worth are different. They're not the same. Lots of people think they're the same. They're not. Okay, confidence is about your ability to do something really well. Your belief in yourself to do something really well. And self-worth is inherent. It is the value you see of yourself. All right. And so yes, in this situation with imposter syndrome, it's both. Okay, it's like really leveling up your value of you and what you're bringing into the world, and for you to see your own worth and the worth of your services, your gifts, and what you're sharing. Okay, but then it's like knowing that, and then feeling fear and taking aligned action anyway to build the confidence that yes, you can do this, you got this, right? And I don't know about you guys, but I am a recovered perfectionist. So if I have any perfectionists out here, here's the thing: let yourself fall. Right? Failure only happens when you don't learn from your falls. This is about letting yourself fall, learning from your mistakes, and tweaking so that you can try again. And marketing is the same thing, right? It's all testing. It's all about testing. And you think about it. Hi, Erin. When you think about it, when you watch, if those of you who are parents in here, you know what I'm talking about. But you don't even need to be a parent to know this, right? As that baby is starting to crawl and then starts to crawl to start to furniture walk, there's some falling that happens, right? And then taking themselves off from the furniture and trying to balance, there's a lot of falling. I mean, look at us when we were trying to ride our bike. There's a lot of falling. So the journey of entrepreneurship is no different, my loves, right? It is no different. Just different story, but the process isn't any different. You know, Tony Robbins didn't get to where he is today without failing 1,000 times or more, probably more, right? I didn't get to where I am today without making mistakes. Definitely not. And our mentors never got to where they are today without making mistakes. Okay? The only true failure is when we don't look at our mistakes or what our falls and learn from it and retweak. And we just keep repeating ourselves over and over again in our patterns. And you know what? Frankly, I don't know about you, but I'm not okay with that. So I'm not okay with just continue to repeat, right? And that happens mentally. That happens emotionally as well. Are you repeating the same belief that you are not worthy, you are not good enough, that somebody's going to find out that you're a fraud, you don't know what you're talking about. You're staying victim to those beliefs. So it's time, if you've been sick and tired of that, you're like looking for a sign, this is your sign, right? Step into your next level version of you, because there is one. There are infinite possibilities of how we can show up, and we get to choose. We get to choose which portal to step into. That's the beautiful thing. Okay. And so let's talk about, I'm going to talk about, let me address this too. Okay, there's another story I want to share with you because some of you might resonate with this. So this will separate it out from imposter syndrome and actually knowing, do you need more skills? Maybe you actually need to build more tools in your tool belt so that you can feel more confident to hold space for your clients. Okay, so sometimes what I hear, okay, is, and this is with my clients, this is with friends and peers, sometimes what I hear is there's been situations where perhaps you really want to hold space for your client, and they're sharing something that you can understand, you can empathize with, but for whatever reason, you're feeling like not clear about how to hold space for them. Okay. And oftentimes there's two reasons. Number one, your client could be actually triggering your own shit, right? Even thinking about on sales calls, right? You will never, ever help somebody overcome their objections if you buy into them yourself. That happens a lot with the money shit, right? Okay. So somebody says, well, I can't afford that. And then all of a sudden you go into your own shit, for example, of like, oh my God, yeah, my pricing is really too much. It's too expensive. Like they're right. So all of a sudden you're making it about you. And that's because you're stuck in your own stuff. I have been there. Okay. So no shame about that. I totally have been there. But the yay part is there's something there for you to break through, to lean into for your medicine. Okay. So, and then another thing that can happen, why you might feel like not clear, is literally you do not have the knowledge or the tools. You just don't know what you don't know. So for example, I had a client one time who actually was a certified life coach. I'm not sure what schooling she went to, but it was interesting in our business coaching. She was asking me, how do I work with a client for 12 sessions? And it actually shocks me because I would think that this is what you would learn about in your certification, that you would understand how to walk a client through their process. And it was very apparent upon talking to his client, she had a really hard time keeping her clients. Like her clients were not engaging and they would drop off or ghost her, not pay her. Okay. And so it was very interesting. And so here's the thing. You can only take your clients deeper. Let me rephrase this. You can only go as deep as with your clients as you go deep with yourself. Okay, so how deep you can go with yourself is how deep you will go with your clients. And that makes sense, right? If you don't know what you don't know because you haven't explored that within yourself, it's impossible. It's completely impossible to help your clients shift into where they actually need to go. And I will say this from a former registered psychologist who supervised student therapists. Okay, I did that for a large portion of my career, and I could see where their own stuff came up. And when we worked on their own stuff, or then what happens is they were able to shift and have more expansive work with their clients because they themselves are more expansive. You cannot create or have what you are vibrationally not. You cannot create or have what you are vibrationally not. Okay, and so I know I'm dropping in some really golden nuggets today, so I hope that you're like really feeling into this truth. Okay, hi, yes, thank you, Erin. Clear resonance fields to be more in observation mode. Beautiful. And so, yes. So if that's, you're recognizing, oh, okay, maybe it's my own inner work I need to do, or maybe it's like, I just actually need to build some more skills. I have seen some beautiful work being done with healers like Reiki masters and light workers. But what's missing, and I will say this myself as someone who is certified as a Usuri and Karuna Reiki master, as well as divine compassion, is that sometimes people do not have the life coaching frame to create those bigger transformational packages. Oftentimes, Reiki is like a one-off session, right? We just book when we need it, sort of thing. But can you imagine, as a light worker, as a healer, that you would have a clear structure, a coaching model structure to hold your clients in and confidently know what you're going to be doing each session, of course, and bringing in you and your gifts, the alchemy of you, into these sessions? Wouldn't that support you to feel more confident, to raise your rate, raise your client results, drop imposter syndrome, and ditch any client results anxiety? If you're not saying yes, I don't know why you wouldn't be, right? So I don't know about you, but it's really, truly important. It's really, truly important for me as a coach who is here to, on a big soul mission, to live in an expansive place so that I can be vibrating and having my clients vibrate at the level of frequency or higher. Okay. And so what that requires of me is to keep investing in myself professionally and personally. You even look at regulated professions, right? Even as a psychologist, as a nurse, as a social worker, whatever that looks like, you need to have continuing education credits. And so I really believe it's our sacred responsibility to continue growing our skill set, to continue expanding our tools so that we can raise our vibration, expand, and hold space for our clients to help them raise their vibration too. But we can't do that if we actually don't have the tools. Okay, we also can't do that if we don't believe in ourselves, right? And so, and I mean, we can do that even if we have imposter syndrome, but it's fucking exhausting. It's fucking exhausting to be in this place of, I'm not good enough. When are they going to find out? I actually don't know what I'm talking about, even though you're manifesting the results with your clients. That's a real thing. Okay, that's exhausting too. You're taking out a lot energetically. You're leaking so much. So we can clean that up, right? And align it so that your conscious and your unconscious and subconscious brain is aligned so that you can truly see your own gifts. So here's the steps, okay? All right, so if you're feeling like, you know what, I know I have the skill sets, I know I'm like totally kicking butt, I know exactly how I would to work with my clients. Okay, so listen up. Let's get rid of the imposter syndrome. What you need to do then is I invite you to, what often is very helpful is to actually go and look at all your client testimonials. Go and print them off. If you don't have any, go and ask your clients, okay? It is really also good for business to share your client testimonials and your wins and celebrate your clients. And so print that off, put them on your bathroom mirror or somewhere where your office space in front of you, where you will always see how freaking awesome you are in the work that you create and the impact you create with your client. That's helpful to see the actual proof. Okay, now it's time to do the inner work. So let me ask you these questions. Get a pen, make sure you're writing this down. What does it mean to you if you allow yourself to see your own gifts? Okay, so your answer could both be positive and negative. All right. My sense is you're staying in imposter syndrome because there is a benefit, there's a payoff to staying in this. What is that payoff? Who are you going to hurt if you stop having imposter syndrome and you start really owning your gifts inside? Who are you afraid to become, or who are you afraid to step on? Who's right? Who are you afraid to hurt? So many times, especially as women, we are so scared to outshine other people because we're told, oh, be humble. Don't be conceited. Nobody likes a conceited person. Okay? And you might resonate with that if that's something you grew up in. There could be some karmic patterns. So when I'm doing Akashic record readings with clients, there's often patterns in not being able to play big, or because when you did, you got killed. Okay, so there's real witch wounds, okay, where literally for showing up, for shining, for sharing ideas, for creating that movement, you got killed. So there's real energy behind karmic lifetimes and patterns that could be impacting you now. So that's like, you're like, oh my gosh, that might be me. Book in an Akashic record session with me. Okay, let's clear that shit. I literally can clear shit within 1 or 2 sessions with you. All right. And it's just fun to see what your past lives are. I also check out your past lives to help you remember the warrior within you, or the priestess, the goddess, the queen. Okay, and it's about awakening that here right now so that you can step into that next level version of yourself. So powerful and potent. I wish I had that 2 years ago so I could do that and quantum leap it. Okay, didn't think about that. Okay, that's all I want to say about that. Okay, so then it's moving into the affirmations, doing mirror work, looking at yourself, loving yourself more. Louise Hay, 21 Days of Mirror Work. Check out that book, Mirror Work. 21 days you can become somebody different that truly loves herself. And then finally, if you're feeling like you may have imposter syndrome, or you're like recognizing, oh my gosh, the earlier conversation, part of when I'm working with clients or when I was a supervisor to therapist students, and recognizing your own shit's getting stuck, or like you just don't know what you don't know, I really invite you to step into the life coaching certification with me that I'm facilitating through my business partner's Flourishing Life Coaching program. Okay. And in this, it is not just, a heady self-study place. Actually, it's a very internal experiential program, which also brings in the science. It's the first coaching program that brings in the science, the evidence based on psychology, neuroscience, sociology, business, with regards to the 10 core competencies of strength-based resiliency. We give you a coaching model of what to do in 12 sessions with your clients, okay, and how to walk them through. We also have assessments that are incredibly accurate. They are computerized assessments to tell people where they may need to support, which areas in their life they need more flourishing, more resiliency to build on, and coaching can be geared towards that. But then you bring in your magic, as I always invite you to, with your healing, with whatever methods you have. But at least you have these extra tools and structures in place so that you don't have to worry about one-off sessions, or, oh, my client will book when they book in, like, I'm sorry, but like, yes, I believe in divine timing, but I also believe in raising your client results. And how do you do that? By having a coaching model, not by winging it, by having a transformation model. And I have clients that I have gone through this program, and they have a clinical, actually Shannon, who just went through this program. She is a mental health therapist. She has been a counselor. So very similar background as me, as a social worker. And she took the life coaching program because she's been wanting to enhance her skills as a life coach. So she just recently started her life coaching business, okay? And yes, That's why, like, the biggest thing is have beginner's eyes, because this program is not only uh, will give you the model, but oh my gosh, you guys, all the breakthroughs that come for you personally, right? You cannot go through something without looking on your own shit. All right, that's the breakthroughs that come through. And then now you get to hold space for clients because you're vibrating at a different level. And when you're calling in your clients, who usually are your former versions of yourself, you're like, oh my gosh, that's embodied. I know exactly how to support them in this because you went through it yourself, right? So I'm a big believer that yes, even though, maybe you didn't go through something yourself, you can still help somebody, but it is so much more potent and so much more powerful when you yourself have gone through it and your clients really energetically get that too. All right, something more potent and deep happens and unfolds. So, in summary, okay, I would love for you to notice what's standing out the most for you in this training today. I would love for you to really reflect on your mindsets and your beliefs around staying in imposter syndrome, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're a fraud. We're worried about being found out that you don't know anything. This is really common, you guys. Okay, like I shared, I've experienced that, and I will probably continue to experience it as I level up. And that's okay. It's like each time though, it's less and less. It's less intense. It's if it comes up, I can manage it really quickly. It doesn't take over, so it doesn't stay as long. Okay, I look at three things: intensity, duration, and how frequent it comes up. All right. So when I'm working with my clients, we look at those things. Like, are these areas decreasing? And that would be the goal so that you can continue to expand. Okay, and then if you're feeling like, gosh, I would love to just do a Akashic record reading and see what my past lives are, let's clear some of this stuff. I bring in, the angels will really let me bring in the light language as well as my psychology background and my business background. So it's a pretty potent session, and amplify your soul's purpose. And then if you're like, yeah, I would just freaking love to really be more confident and having more tools, you felt aligned or you're curious about the Flourishing Life Coaching certification, let me know. You can PM me or let me know in the comments. You can just put a fire sign, flourishing, and then I'll PM you. Okay, it is very potent, and if you want more information, there is a freebie I will send you, which is a mini course to share with you about the flourishing framework. And if you're feeling really like, because honestly, I'm like, this isn't for everybody. Okay, these are for you. This is for you if you're really, really ready to level up and be more confident to step into your power to raise your clients' results and raise your rates confidently and ditch imposter syndrome. So, I hope that this was helpful, and please do implement the steps. They are every time we're asked to step up, there's a new level, new devil, right? And we don't want that fear, that inner critic to drive the bus. My wish for you is to step into your power truly, internally, and reflects on the external. That reflects and mirrors on the external. Okay, my loves? All right. Have an awesome Monday. Drop me your questions. Let me know what you're interested in. And I just love when you ask questions as well and share your takeaways, because it inspires me to create more for you, more content for you to support you in moving the needle forward in your life and your business.